Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's edition of our monthly town hall. It is April. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've got linking launching today, and we also have an early access weekend coming up the next weekend. I'm really stoked to be able to share a lot of cool things with you today. This is the first time that we actually have a video feed accompanying our town hall. I've been privileged enough to be able to see a lot of the stuff that's been, a lot of the behind the scenes work that's been done on the game in the office every day. We haven't quite been able to share them with you apart from what we can post in the Leaks channel, so really stoked to be able to have this stream up today. Um, Shout out to Zenway Productions. We're working with them for this stream. I used to work with them for esports stuff back in the day. But that's enough of me on the screen. I want to introduce you to who we're going to be speaking with for today's town hall, and then we'll jump into the agenda. So um, let's just go down the list. We have Aaron. Let's have you go first.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron. I'm art director at Mighty Bear Games. So we'll be looking at some of the artwork and talking through the new features and games, or sorry, additions to the game you guys can expect. So glad to be here.
Let's go to Michael next.
Hey everybody, Michael, aka Accent on the Discord. I'm the Web3 lead at Mighty Bear Games, and we have some updates today on what you can do with the NFTs. So yeah, very excited about to talk about this today.
This is a very big day. I'm stoked as well. Let's go to Tom.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Tom. I'm the game lead on this project. Yeah, also got some EA free stuff to talk about today. Good to be here.
Okay, and last but not least, we have our esteemed Papa Bear, Simon.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Mighty Bear Games, and today I'm here just to, help out answer any questions about the studio or anything we're up to.
So, fun fact, at Mighty Bear, we all get to pick like official bear names. Um, like after we complete our probation and become fully fledged employees. So Simon's bear name is Papa Bear, and he just asked me a couple of days ago if I was sure I wanted my bear name because my bear name is Basic Bear. I feel very sus right now, but only time will tell. He said it's not a bad thing, so let's see. So let me run you guys through what you can expect today. We'll be talking a lot about the coolest thing that is happening today in in an hour's time. That's going to be linking. It's going to be happening through the MightyNet terminal that's going to come online in app.mightynet.xyz. That's where you're going to be able to finally put to link your NFTs and start earning MBITs in our ecosystem. Michael will be able to talk to you more about that. But this is also a pretty packed month for Mighty Action Heroes in general. We've got a new playable build coming up just next weekend, actually. It'll be available for 3 days. If you're not an active holder, you can still get access to it by participating in Click's community game night. I'm not sure if they're still accepting registrations, but essentially everybody who joins in Click's game night tonight, that's happening tonight in about 12 hours, you will automatically be allowed listed to access the new build next weekend, so check it out. And then beyond that, I think we want to talk a little bit about what to expect in the months to come, because we've got some really cool milestones coming up. The game's going to go into open beta. Lots of cool things. So let's get right to it. I think we can play the linking video. And Michael, why don't you give us a quick summary or introduction of what linking is all about?
All right, let's go. Okay, well, we put up the video. Just gonna share a bit more of the thoughts behind linking and what it is. So yeah, so the MightyNet terminal, as Marianne already said, is basically our machine in the MightyNet ecosystem that allows you to link your NFTs. And yeah, so this is how it looks like. So it's kind of like a walkthrough. You find the terminal in the menu. So, but before you do that, you can set up your profile if you haven't done that yet. So we launched that a few weeks ago. Basically, to set up your profile, you have to verify that this is your wallet, and confirm it on MetaMask. Agree to terms and conditions, and by setting up this profile, you basically also set your username in the game, so you actually see your username there, and you can also set your own picture. So there's this arrow button next to that image, so you can actually set your bears if you have any as pictures. And yeah, heading over to the terminal, you see some explanation. step 1, 2, 3, what this whole thing is about. And then you choose your bears. You can also lock your Genesis passes. So if you have some, they will show up there. You can also select all of them at once if you want for convenience. And yeah, so that actually now was the last step, but basically between those two steps, you can set the duration of how long you want to lock your bears. So we give options of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And the longer you lock, the more of a boost, of a bonus you get. There's this thing called link power, which could be a bit difficult to understand, but if you've been around in DeFi and some of those have done things like this before, basically it means how much of the daily rewards. So we give 10,000 MBITs per day. So how much of those 10,000 MBITs per day you receive. So it's basically how many of the bears and Genesis passes you have locked or linked compared to basically what's linked globally. That's a TLDR. There's a bit to digest, so we're here on the Discord if you have any questions, and of course we can answer questions today. But yeah, so this is the linking feature. This is the terminal. Welcome to the next chapter of the MightyNet.
Let's go a little bit into detail about what linking gets you and what that gets you, Michael. I mean, I think I was speaking to Simon yesterday about some PR stuff, and he mentioned that this is actually, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the first time in the world anyone has done something that goes from off-chain to on-chain to off-chain again. Simon, what did you say?
On-chain to off-chain to on-chain reward system.
Yeah, so it's the first time in the world
World's
anyone's
first.
done anything like that. Yeah. Michael, why don't you explain a little bit more about how that works? Because I think from there, it'll be really cool to segue into, like, the kind of challenges we've had coming up with the right sort of, like, concept art and thing to represent MBITs.
Yeah, I love that narrative. Basically, we thought about how do we make this as easy as possible. And the challenges that we had is that the bears and the Genesis passes, they're on Ethereum mainnet, but the rewards will be on a layer 2. So how do we do that? And this is where the off-chain component comes in. So the MBITs are basically an off-chain points system. They're not a currency. They're not an ERC20 token. They're not tradable. If you read our light paper, there is the mention of a Mighty token that will come eventually sometime later. So this is not that. So just want to get this out of the way. But basically also the reason why MBITs, we want to put them off chain is because we also give rewards for MBITs to our community. It's the linking. So Marianne has a bigger update about that, but basically if you participate in our early access, if you create great content, that also rewards your MBITs. So we want to have a mechanism to basically reward that to users that add value in the ecosystem. And yeah, what can you do with this? Why should you care? Why should you be excited? So basically the first step into the broader economy basically that we're building in Mighty Action Heroes. And the path is basically you have your bears, you have your Genesis passes, you link them for how long you want. Again, the longer you link them, the more you get. And this is basically to kind of reward users that really believe in the long term of what we're building. And then you can spend your MBITs to get those supply crates. So there's 3 different kind of supply crates. We will share more of what's in there, what are the differences, but I can already share some alpha that this leads into the crafting that we're working on currently. And Aaron is also here on the Townhall today. He has been doing amazing work, and the team to help ideate on the supply crate, but also crafting, and we have some really amazing stuff in the pipeline there right now. And what is the crafting? So the first thing that you can craft will be grenades. So basically the supply crates will have resources that you can use for crafting for the grenades. That's as much as I can share for now. But later on, you will be able to craft other things also in Mighty Action Heroes, so not just grenades. Grenades are kind of like a test. We have some interesting stuff planned for the crafting mechanics to just see how it will go, basically, and what the community thinks of it. And then again, later on, we will have more things to craft. So if you lock your bears, if you lock your Genesis Pass, you will get those supply crates. They will have crafting materials, first for the grenades, but later on also for other things. And yeah, they will basically help you be well equipped in Mighty Action Heroes. Back to
While
you,
we have
Marianne.
the supply while we have the supply crates up on screen, Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit about the thought that went into designing them? Because we do have a little bit of concept art that you can see there.
Sure, yeah. No, there's a great explainer, Michael, on the feature. So we've been working hard on the art team for making the supply crates. So what you see on screen right now is the existing version of the supply crates, but we're actually re-looking at it and redesigning a new version of the supply crates that we think kind of maybe more accurately defines our new brand, kind of the new work that we're doing, and also improves the visual look of the rarities. So what you see here on screen, the three different colors would be our uncommon supply crate to the left, and then we've got a rare in the middle, and then we'll have a legendary supply crate. So obviously the rewards will be more impressive as it goes up the rarity scale. And then in the next screen, or the previous one, you saw the sketches. If we could just move over to that one. So this one is a sneak peek. No one's ever seen this before outside the studio. So this is a sneak peek into kind of a new version of the supply crate that we're working on that will be a little bit cuter, a little bit more like a military grade toolbox. But this is the early sketches of the uncommon rarity that will be that we're developing currently. So yeah, just kind of a sneak peek. We're excited about the direction it's going so far. So hopefully you guys are as well.
Oh my gosh, I just realized we actually can show a little bit of the new one because it's on another one of the things that we're going to bring up on screen. But before we do that, so folks in the audience, I think this is the first time we've also really had art representation on our town halls or on our streams. I always thought it's super cool to have artists talk about the background or the thought that goes into a particular design, and I think this is also a great time to kind of talk about the Mighty Terminal. It's actually had a little bit of history. I mean, Simon and Michael will know we've gone quite away from what it was originally meant to be. Simon, do you want to give us like a little bit of background into what the Mighty Terminal used to be?
I mean, it's had many, many different revisions, but yeah, Michael, what's the most recent one that we disagreed on? Was it we discussed people earning stars for their Mighty Terminal? I guess a bit like the Nintendo star behind me. And then we discussed all kinds of manner of different kind of ways for people to interact with the ecosystem. But we thought that an arcade machine would be a really fun way for players to kind of connect their bears or their Genesis passes and start earning rewards.
Yeah,
Sorry, did you talk about the cave already?
No, oh god, I forgot about that. Yeah, Michael, I'm gonna let you take that one. The bear cave.
You take the cave one.
Well, I don't know, at one point there was the notion of hibernating your big bears from the Big Bear Syndicate. You'd send them away in a cave, and then you'd get honey and like additional rewards, which would then be the currency that you would then redeem for the in-game bonuses. But yeah, we jammed on the narrative wrapper for this a lot. But yeah, initially it was about the whole metaphor was about hibernating your heroes, it's a fun idea, but I think that the arcade terminal is much cooler, much more on brand.
I think what we realized about hibernating. Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna go ahead. For the folks that saw hibernation and that saw honey, that was basically the first iteration of this. So basically, we're originally thinking, okay, we just call it hibernation because that's what bears do. Then they come back with a lot of honey, and you spend those honey for the supply crates. But then we also kind of realized, well, it's not fully on brand for everything that we're doing. It just fits the bears, and we have bigger plans. So that's where the terminal came in. We were thinking about an arcade. We called it a Mightycade. It didn't quite stick well. And then the art team came up with the amazing, just concept of like the terminal, because again, it fits better into the actual narrative. And Marianne, if you want to go, maybe you feel like you want to say something about the narrative and the producer and all that.
Oh no, hey, that's a secret for now. But right. I actually wanted to just talk about how we also decided against hibernation because it doesn't quite scale. Like, if we stuck with hibernation being the main like name or theme for our linking system, then it, maybe we would just have to make bear NFTs forever. And while the fan gang is cool, I think at some point the MightyNet is going to go a lot further than just bears. But yeah, I think the current Mighty Terminal is really, really cool. I know Aaron also went through a bunch of iterations before we landed up there. I remember just a couple of weeks before we locked the final art, someone told me it was going to look more like an arcade machine. And I remember I actually went to a local arcade to like just kind of get inspiration for marketing art briefs. Aaron, why don't you tell us about the journey from like actual arcade machine to the terminal that we see now?
Sure. Okay. If we bring up that artwork again, maybe it's best to look at something visual. So what you see here is based on our initial brief, and I'll try to speed through this because there's a lot of lore detail behind it. But we kind of took a big step back and looked at the MightyNet and how it relates to Mighty Action Heroes and how we can build something of a narrative through line and lore behind everything. And then once you establish that, then it's easier for you to make branding decisions on what the Mighty Terminal or the fix for what used to be the Mighty Cage should be, and what prior to that was hibernating and honey. So what we decided is the game is obviously retro themed, so an arcade machine is appropriate for that. But in addition to that, we wanted the terminal to feel something like an ATM machine, but not so boring. So we thought mixing an ATM machine with an arcade machine would feel appropriate. And then this is where you lock your NFTs and then you receive MBITs. So these are some of the fun early sketches of that. And I think if you keep going, we've got some of the final renders. Go to the next image. Could someone go to the next image? Sorry. Say that again. It should be in there. There's an image. Yeah, there's an image called
Is it the
MightyNet
concept art one?
Terminal Final Art. There's one called Final Art. It should be in the same folder. Yep. So yeah, but anyways, that's kind of the story behind this. There's also, this is kind of one of the main key art assets, and then there's also the MBITs coin as well. So what you see here is our beautiful final renders. So we worked with a very talented 3D team, and we're able to visualize this, what you see on screen. So this is the Mighty Terminal, and then the MBITs below that. So we see this as kind of the locking V2 branding that's currently still underway, and we'll continue adding to this, but this is the brand representation you'll see on the website. So yeah, that's it for that.
That is super cool. I cannot wait to start earning my MBITs. Um, we've got just one more thing to share about the whole linking system. Could you bring up the bounty announcement, please? Hello? Okay, anyway, so there you go. So these are, before I get into the details of the announcement, these are actually I think the supply crates, like the final or the new supply crates that Aaron was speaking about. So you can see they actually look like crates. Um, it is my dream that someday we'll be able to see them in base and they'll be destructible like a lot of the other games out there, but one can dream. I think they look great for now. So the final thing related to our linking system that's launching is really the bounty that we announced last night. Um, if you're based in Asia or Australia, you may or may not have seen it because it dropped fairly late. But essentially, this bounty is just a way for us to kind of reward our holders and people who have believed in our ecosystem. And it's also for folks who want to be a part of our ecosystem, because you don't necessarily have to be an active holder to take advantage of this. Essentially, this bounty reward is, you can think of it, it works a little bit like an airdrop, but the reward is MBITs, which are, an off-chain, non-tradable point system. So the more you participate in our ecosystem, the more things that you do with relation to, whether it's linking, holding our ecosystem NFTs, or holding one of our partner NFTs, or even playing Mighty Action Heroes. All of this will contribute towards how we count your final share of the bounty. This is going to be a separate allocation from the daily emissions. So it's actually, it behooves you to go and participate in this, because unlike a lot of other farms out there, it's like a lot of like airdrop farms out there, it's actually going to be pretty fun. I mean, you get to play a game and just like grind your way to the top. Could we pull up the partner slide? So while that's getting pulled up, we've partnered with a bunch of folk to make sure, these have either been like long-standing partners or people that we've been trying to work with for a while, but essentially you also don't need to be an active Big Bear Syndicate or MightyNet Genesis pass holder to be able to be part of the bounty. You could just get your start with like holding a partner NFT. And then if you participate a little bit in the ecosystem, depending on how many other people take part as well, you probably would be able to get a little bit of the rewards. Um, sorry. Let me just see which one it is. Oh, it's the image called MBITs Partners, if you don't mind pulling that up. It's in the folder as well. I'm just looking for this file for them.
Do you want to also just talk about some of the partners we're working with, like just while the image comes up?
Yes. So we are working with, we are actually planning on having 2 snapshots. So these aren't going to be the only partners that we're working with, but right at announcement. So starting from today, where we've been partnered with YGG, with Chibi Clash, with ETH Lizards, with Ready Player DAO, with Click, and with Blackpool. So I won't go I won't go into the finer details of like which of their NFT collections qualify. You should head over to their, if you haven't popped in for a while, head over to their Discord or their Twitter to get that information. Off the top of my head, I know Founder coins qualify. For Blackpool, it's Troop cards. For Chibi Clash, I believe it's Chibi Legends. For Click, it's an attendance pull-up. So if you've been listening into their streams, you definitely qualify. And ETH Lizards, it's, we love the lizards. Yeah, you can take a quick look here in case you didn't catch what I said. But we've also essentially archived this information both on Twitter and on our Substack, which is mightyactionheroes.substack.com. So check it out there. You don't have to rely on this stream only. And I think that's a lot of, we've shared like a ton of stuff for linking. It's linking actually launches in about half an hour, so hopefully we wrap up by then. But I think it's time to go on and talk about the upcoming like the new playable build that we have for the upcoming weekend. Um, let's pull up the main image, the early access key art for the game. And then Tom, I think this is a great time for you to kick us off with a quick TLDR of what to expect from the new build.
Yeah, okay. All right. So in the upcoming new build, there's going to be 2 new hero abilities. Naturally, you're going to be able to select which hero you play as well. And along with that, we'll have 8 heroes total to choose from. So those will actually be divided between 4 different classes as well. So there's 2 heroes in each class. Should we start off by showing a couple of new heroes that we've been adding? All right, let's show Venom Valdez. Here we go. We've got Venom Valdez here. We've also got Detective Danger. And we've got Boss Bao.
Wait, before we move on, I have a question. So I 100% know what inspired Boss Bao. It's actually one of my favorite movies. But who was the inspiration behind Venom Valdez and Detective Danger?
If you want, Tom, I can jump in here on those ones. So, Detective Danger and Venom Valdez. Maybe the audience can have a guess, but clearly, just to take a step back, we use a ton of inspiration from stuff that a lot of us grew up with in the '80s and action movies more specifically. But obviously, taking loose inspiration and then making our own spin on it. So this one is inspired by cop movies from the '80s, specifically things like Beverly Hills Cop, movies like that. But then taking our own spin and mixing it a little bit of like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, something like that for the hairstyle and general attitude. So yeah. And then for Venom Valdez, if we go back to that guy. Yeah, so he's inspired by, it's kind of a mix between, yep, here's some of the late production art. So inspired by things, movies like Escape from New York, these kind of post-apocalyptic 80s action movies. But then our own spin on it is we don't want to get too close to the source material because we like to be unique with our characters. We want to do something different with it. So we mix that in with a little bit of, say, Metal Gear Solid, Liquid Snake. So if you go back to the later image, the previous one. Sorry, could we go back to the, no worries. And I'll just talk about this one for a second while we're skipping back to that other one. So you see that there's no face in this late render. So this is the step in the process in which we build out the character model. So we built the model, and then it's very late in the process in which we do the character rigging, and then we add the face.
Oh, wait. What happened? Huh. Hang on. Why did the stage close? Hang on. Let me make a quick announcement to bring everyone back. Wait ah. That was strange.
And then Tom, if you can hear me after this one, I think I'm wrapped up with my part, and we can go back to the release info.
Perfect. No, I had actually finished with that. I was ready to just start going through the list of things that Marianne had made. Yeah, thank you for picking it up on that bit as well.
I think we can
Sure,
start
yeah.
again.
Okay.
We've got a handful of people in the audience.
Okay, are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody. Just to wrap up this thought, we're looking at beautiful character art of new playable heroes that you can expect. So we're about to go back to the previous image because what you're seeing right here is unfinished production art. And this one is the character as you see it, as he will appear in the game. So we love this character. He's one of our kind of internal favorites so far. So yeah, that one. And then we talked about Detective Danger and then Boss Bow, just to go through the heroes one more time, just so you can see and get to know the heroes that you can expect to play in the upcoming release. So yeah.
Let's talk about the new hero lobby and character selection, because if I'm not wrong, and Tom, please correct me if I do, if I am, in the past few early access builds we've had, only we actually had people like kind of random select into the heroes, correct? Could we pull up? Yes, please. Let's show
Yeah,
the
that's
lobby
right.
video.
Yeah, so
But
in the
yeah,
previous versions... Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh no, just to finish that thought, I mean, in the previous versions, people couldn't select their heroes, but that also meant that they kind of didn't have any information about the heroes. So this would be a lovely time for you to tell us more about not just the lobby, but also the hero select.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, just about the selecting of the heroes, first of all, I'll go through that, and then I'll probably hand over to Aaron a bit about the lobby. But yeah, in previous versions of the early access, you were not able to select which character you had. And when we started adding in the abilities as well, we kind of randomized those between the characters. So this time we're actually bringing in the class system proper. So the characters themselves, you choose them from the character select screen, and then they'll have their abilities and some stat variation as well. I think it's like the amount of max armor, health, speed, and also a stat we call luck. And they'll also have their ability by class as well.
Let's share a bit about the classes, because I don't think I don't think the characters are also previously classified before.
Yeah, okay. All right. So there are 4 classes that are in the game now. So actually, we got some We do have some videos about the different classes as well we can show. Let's see, there's 4. So yeah, first of all, I'll start talking about the tank class. So the tank has got higher maximum armor, they've got like a high amount of health there as well. But on the speed side, they're a bit slower, and also they're not so lucky as well. So actually luck is correlated to critical hits right now. But the tank, they've got the charge ability. So if you want to use the charge, then these are the heroes to go for. Should we move on to the Speedster next? Alright, so the Speedster, so the 2 heroes using this, they are like slightly faster, they're also more lucky. You can see there their luck stat is quite high, and they are lower on the health and armor side of things. And if you choose the Speedster, then you get to use the dash ability, which we'll go into a bit more information later, but essentially this is an ability specific for that class to quickly move around. And then next we move to the fighter.
I want to cut in just a little here. I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone's noticing, but I think when we posted a preview of this on Twitter, there was someone who, maybe it was Mario from our team, someone called out the pinup poster on the hero's locker wall. It's just, we have our own pinup dude. That's really cute. Just wanted to call that out. Please continue.
Yeah, once we talk about the lobby a bit as well, I'm sure Aaron will talk about more, like there's a lot of Easter eggs in there to find. It's very cool. But yeah, on the fighter, so they've got a good amount of health, they've got a good amount of luck as well, but on the armor and speed side, not as good. I actually, just anecdotally, I like playing as the fighter myself, and that's because of the hero ability they have. So their hero ability is a flying kick. And then last of all, to wrap up the classes, let's talk about the balanced class. Alright, so yeah, the description on the screen even says it. So this is the jack of all trades hero. So the 2 of these, they will have everything roughly balanced, maybe a little bit lower on the health side, and they come with a dodge roll. So the dodge roll is one of the 2 abilities that we previewed on the previous early access. So people should be familiar with that, although we've done a few adjustments here and there for balancing as well.
Tom, do you think you could talk a bit about the new hero abilities before we go into like just talking more about the lobby and the art behind it?
Yeah, sure thing. Okay, so should we start off with flying kick ability? I can talk about that. I think we got yeah, there we go. There's a cool icon for that. Right, so yeah, I really enjoy this one actually. It's quite fun in the play sessions using the flying kick. So essentially, we got a video that will show this as well. And so when you use the flying kick, you lunge into someone. So you actually kind of leap forward, kick them, and then knock them back. And actually, if you hit them into an object, they'll do a little bit more damage as well. And you can see there's a brief bit of stun as well. So someone will get knocked back, be stunned for a little bit, and then potentially you can finish shooting them there, or maybe they have the opportunity to get out of your way. So it's a good gap closer, but it's also satisfying to use as well because of the way it brings you forward. And then we've got the dash ability, so we can show that as well. Yeah, there's the icon for the dash. So this is, we'll see in the video, there's 3 dash charges that you get every time this ability kind of refills. And so if you chain these together, you can actually go like zip, 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 like make 3 quick movements through the map. And so you could use that to your advantage. Like you could maybe start shooting someone and then you need to reload. So you quickly zip away, reload, and then zip back and then finish them off, right? Or if someone's trying to run away from you, you can quickly catch up with them as well. The one balance on this is that you can still get hurt while you're doing this dash ability. So it's not like the dodge roll where you have that invincibility. So there is some trade-off there.
I think I know which class I'm gonna play for the next EA early access. I don't, honestly, I have to admit I haven't been able to participate in any of our internal playtests because I was busy putting together like the bounty and airdrop thing. But yeah, this looks super cool. It's like absolutely up my alley. We should talk
it's a lot
about
of fun.
we should talk about the lobby next because I mean if you folk in the audience can see the background of our 5-person layout, that's actually our brand new lobby, and Aaron and his team have put a lot of work into doing that. I think for the video we can start with just showing work in progress, and Aaron can kind of talk us through that.
Sure, that sounds great. So we'll pull up the lobby video. Hero Lounge. Okay, so this is probably a good place to start. This is actually the final production art assets of what you'll see in the game. and then I want to step you back and show you a little bit of the process of how we got there and some of the work in progress stuff. So I think there's other images you can just feel free to cycle through. So this is an early take on the hero base. So the challenge here is we're trying to not only just make a scene and background behind the characters, but also something that as we zoom around the space, we can add features as we go. So it's something where it's interactive, and obviously we have big future dreams for what we want this space to be. But for the time being, it's how do you make it look appropriate with the story, full of all this story content, so you can feel how these heroes would hang out and lounge in their own space, but also be something that we can scale as we add more content that's interactive within the base. So we can keep going through the images here. Oh, we might be in it might actually be in a different folder. Do we want to stick in this one, Marianne, or hop over to some of the other art assets?
You can hop over. Just
Okay. I believe that should be in one moment, everybody. That should be in game B-roll, and check out a folder called Hero Base. There should be more images in there. Okay, so just a couple quick snapshots of the production art that you never really see when you're just in the game. So we've got our talented 3D artists who were completely dedicated to filling this space with as much military retro ephemera as possible. So we've got crates and guns laying about and pizza everywhere. Pineapple pizza. Hopefully that doesn't offend anyone in the crowd. But just ton of interesting content, and we can keep going through the slides here. And then one of the most recent things we just got done with is lighting the space. So this is an early preview of what the space looked like before. So you see it without the production lighting applied and without any of the effects in Unity. So this is what we started with. And then if we keep going through the slides here. And then you see this is the next step in the evolution. So we're starting to light the characters and put them in the scene that looks a little bit closer to what you saw in the final, getting the couch in there, getting the camera set right. So this touches a lot of different hands. There's people modeling a bunch of different assets in the background. There's people adjusting the camera and obviously doing the UI interface. And then what we're focused on right here is the lighting. So I believe you step to the last image. Okay, so now we see we've got the lighting in there. It feels great. We've got these purple hues in the background. We got this cool like danger red light in the background, which feels very appropriate to 80s action theming. And then obviously we've got pizza strewn about everywhere, and generally feel like this is the lighting scenario that we stuck with and we love. So this is what you guys will see in game, and hopefully it feels immersive and high production value for you. But yeah, I believe that was the last image. So that's a quick peek into the hero-based production.
I think that is super cool. Yeah, I think that's all we have to share about the game right now. Early access. This build becomes playable in our early access weekend next weekend, which is going to run from April 28th to April 30th. But before we go into kind of like just the open AMA portion of this town hall, there are some things that we want to share. Primarily just what to expect beyond this coming EA, and get ready for some alpha. But let me just walk you through what you can expect, or when you can expect to hear from the team. So like we did previously, we're going to also have a post-event feedback space. This is really a space that's focused on game design. So if you're big on like game development and the design of the game in general, this is your chance to come in, like speak directly with our designers, hear how they think about the feedback that's been given for the new build, stuff like that. It's going to be a really casual and cool chat. So tune in. We'll give details on that real quick, like real soon. Sorry. We also have a bunch of AMAs coming up. We are going to be speaking with Ancient 8. We're also going to be hopping on a space with the folk from Wolfstyle. Very awesome folks. Shout out to you guys. And then we're going to have our monthly town hall later in May as well. If you have any thoughts, if you end up watching this video, or if you're listening live, if you have any thoughts about the new video format that we've tried out, definitely let us know. It's just something that we're trying out, and we would love to see what the community thinks. And And so here's where we go into the actual alpha. Uh, Simon, do you want to talk us through high level what we can expect from the open beta? And do you want to tell everyone when it's going to happen?
No. No, I'll share some details. So in terms of open beta, the plan will be, as the name implies, really to open the game up to other players and kind of ensure that everyone can partake in what we're building. And there's going to be more features, certainly on the progression and collectibles side in the game. I'm not, how much can I really say? Maybe I could be a bit like Peter Molyneux and I can just promise lots of stuff. And then Michael, Tom, and Aaron can panic for the next 2-3 months thinking about how to do it. So it's going to have full 3D, VR integration. What else? It will be on Switch. No,
Oh
none of
my
that
god.
was true.
He's just trolling, guys. It's
No.
not real.
Yeah, I'm just trolling.
Not financial advice.
I'm going to let Tom and Michael talk about what's coming there because I don't want to commit them live. So, yeah, I
Wait,
also don't
see
want to
the
get
date.
it wrong.
We've committed to the
No,
date,
no.
so you can say it.
I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let other people handle that.
Okay. One of you guys say it. If not, I'll say it. No one wants to take the responsibility of leaking the alpha.
I guess I could just share a bit like what we do. And I mean, we don't have a fixed date, but it's like roughly when that's gonna happen. So basically, I mean, it's a rough date, right? Like start of the second half of this year. We're gonna
Yeah.
open up the game basically. And what does it mean? So it means that you can basically play the game without holding the Big Bear Syndicate or MightyNet Genesis Pass that everybody can play. And that basically also the game is at a state where it's ready for more players to play, and then maybe folks that don't have that much context in what we're building, they see the value in what we're playing. And as Simon suggested, and I'll let Tom speak more to this, but we are thinking, so now that the core gameplay is at a good point, we're thinking more about like the meta progression outside of the game. So what that means is kind of like leveling up your account, leveling up your heroes. You know, hero NFTs are on the roadmap for this year. There's some alpha there, and some other things that you can craft later on in the year. So basically, opening up the game kind of opens up literally, that direction. And then once we have more folks, then NFTs come into the play again with the heroes, and with more craftables. But I'll let Tom maybe share a little bit about how we think about meta progression and what to expect, so that you folks listening know that it's not just hopping into a match of Mighty Action Heroes and it's done. Like there's actually some progression that's happening and that you can look forward to.
Yeah, okay. All right, so there's actually a lot of actually leaning on the kind of customization side and building up your hero as well. So as you're going through matches, you're going to be claiming for rewards and resources needed to actually start building up your hero and tuning them towards your playstyle. So although we have things like classes in place, there's still an amount of variation in there where you can take your hero in a slightly different direction to how someone else would take their hero as well, and kind of adjust it to your playstyle. I can actually talk about a few of the things that are coming sooner as well, like towards the middle of the year. So there's a couple of these actually on the core game side I can talk about. So the first of these is the mini map. And I say this because this has been a request for quite a while as well. It's one of the most requested features, I think, and so we're adding that into the game. So you'll be able to get your bearings when you start off a match. You'll also be able to see where the danger zone, which is our name for what is commonly referred to as like the shrinking ring, where the danger zone currently is as well. You'll be able to see where it's going to become dangerous soon, so you know where you need to actually run away from as well. And yeah, you'll be able to just get your bearings and get an understanding of the map in general. The second feature I'll talk a bit about is the weapon bloom. So this is I think we might have touched on this in a previous call a month ago, I'm just thinking back. But yeah, so the weapon bloom is the more you shoot, kind of the more your inaccuracy will build up. And I'm trying to do this with my hands, but essentially, yeah. So it makes sense to actually stop shooting for a bit, let your weapon bloom shrink up again, and then shoot again, and you'll have more accuracy. So you can imagine how that fits with something like a... Oh, yeah, go for it, Simon.
Maybe like an easier way for people to understand this is almost like recoil, right? So the longer you hold down, the less accurate your gun is. You wait for your recoil to shrink. Because bloom is quite technical.
Yeah, that's true. It's bloom like a flower, essentially, right? But yeah, if you keep it in mind with recoil and what would be like a third-person shooter or first-person, like if you time your shots more carefully, then you're going to have more accuracy as a result.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about crafting? I think we have some really cool visual accompaniments. We're not gonna go into detail about it, but I think Simon already leaked a snapshot of of something that someone was working on. I think we should just like kind of show a little bit more. Who
Sure.
wants to talk about
Um,
grenades?
I mean, this has been Michael's baby, but why don't you talk about crafting and grenades and
Let's show the
unicorns?
grenades on screen too.
Yes. Yeah, I guess we can go to the grenades. I mean, I helped a lot with on the product side for this, but this is really, Aaron's work, so I'll let him comment on this. And not just Aaron, of course, like the entire art team. We have a lot of talented folks that he's working with. So yeah, I'll let Aaron speak about it.
Okay, sure. So what you're seeing here is a small sneak peek into what we're actually literally working on right now. These are the grenades, which Michael will touch on. Sounds like after these images, but let's just take a minute to look at this beauty. So currently, our wonderfully talented CG artists in house are sculpting this. So we're using ZBrush and making this really cool grenade. So you're thinking this doesn't look at all like a grenade. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because this is a legendary grenade. So we're going to have uncommon, rare, epic, and then legendary. So as it goes up further in the scale, obviously they get further and further from what you would commonly associate as a grenade, because we want to push the envelope as far as how badass can we make this thing, how cool and how special can it be, because these will be things that are tradable in the market. So if we go to the next one. Next image. Yep. So we'll see. This is our finished skull and bones grenade, which is super cool. Illuminated from within. Our CG artist finished this one just this last week. So this is one of my favorites as well. We're trying to keep everything,
Aaron.
as you can see. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to say I'm really excited to see Skull and Bones ship. Like it's gonna be epic.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It just feels super obviously badass, and it's just got a lot of, I don't know, it's just cool. It's self-explanatory. It's pretty cool. I was just going to say and comment on, you'll see how we're trying to push the envelope, as I was saying, on the Golden Dragon, but we're still keeping things like the grenade handle and the grenade pin, but fully customizing what the rest of it looks like. So we're like, why don't we just have, a skull and bones, because that's pretty awesome. If we go to the last image, or sorry, the next one. We're thinking, okay, we've got this serious and kind of horror element with the skull and bones. Let's do the exact opposite and do a sparkly rainbow unicorn. So that's what we've got here. This one is, I believe, still in progress, but we're loving this one as well. Why not just try a cartoony unicorn, because it's something different, something unique. So that's what the team is working on right now. In addition to this, the one thing I'll add is that you can expect to see not only the custom grenades, but the intent is also to have custom VFX that are associated with this grenade, because you think, why would I just have a grenade that looks special and looks amazing and it's a unicorn, but it doesn't have any special function inside the game? Well, it will have a special VFX function. So we're working on that one. Excuse me, working on that one right now, and you can expect to see it in future releases. And then the last couple of images, if you keep stepping to the right, I just want to show you guys what it looks like before we get to the 3D phase. So we'll go to the next image. So these are images. We do obviously a ton of different concept sketches, but this is when we get to the final resolve on what we know we want the design to be. And then we do different angles so that the 3D artist can start into the production. So we can just very quickly go through these last three images, and I think that's it. Just for you guys to see a little bit behind the scenes. Yep, and there we are.
I'm so stoked to see Skull and Bones out in the wild at last. And really,
Oh, yeah.
the unicorn's a huge kind of like throwback to Whimsyshire and Diablo. I wonder if that's going to we're gonna see like a version of Whimsyshire and Diablo 4 as well. But great job, everybody! I think that was personally, and maybe I'm biased because I organized the stream, but I think this is the best one we've ever done because it's so cool to have all the visual accompaniments for all the things that we've been doing. Um, I'm just going to recap a little bit of the alpha that we shared here before we go into just the open Q&A part of the town hall. But we essentially, once we hit open beta, the game is no longer going to be token gated. So that means anyone can play regardless of whether you're a holder or not. And best of all, it's also going to be open 24/7. So we hope to see all of you, not necessarily around the clock, but we're definitely expecting a huge influx of new players, a much larger community, and honestly, for those of you, particularly Lems and Duststorm and AC, we can't wait to see you guys in game more often. But yeah, thanks for listening to us so far. I think we don't really have a huge crowd live with us today, but we're happy to take questions. So if you have anything you want to ask, just put your hand up. We can pull you up on Discord, and you won't be pulled up on the video feed here, but we will be able to take the audio from Discord so you can have a live conversation with us. So yeah, just put your hand up. But I'm going to just read out Lem's question because he posted that in the community FAQ while people get ready to ask their questions. Lems asked, can we expect a mobile version of the game in 2023? Who wants to take this?
I can take it.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
You definitely can. You definitely can expect a mobile version in 2023. Probably even sooner than you think. No pressure, Tom. But yeah.
That's awesome. I am looking forward to that. Did we have anyone else in the audience who had questions? You can ask us about. You don't have to ask about alpha, what's coming. You can ask us about linking, how it's gonna work, or about the game. Or if you're shy, you can also post.
Yeah, while we're still waiting for questions, I can share maybe a little bit more about the crafting and kind of like what we're trying there. So I guess without sharing too much, but you could expect some crafting mechanics that we're trying. So basically, you will have some resources that you have to turn to other resources in an experimental way. So I can say that much. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to play out. And then we have something called blueprints. So blueprints are basically kind of like recipes that tells you, okay, you need this, this, and this to craft, but the blueprints themselves are actually going to be NFTs as well. So they're going to be tradable. And blueprints are going to be in the supply crates. So that's one of the nice things in there, besides the other crafting materials. So yeah, so basically you need the materials, you need the blueprint, and then you can craft the legendary grenades that Aaron showcased. Like this is our baby. We're very proud of those. We have some other really nice epic grenades. We have a lot of good rare grenades and also uncommon grenades. They all look great, but of course, like the level of polish and excitement, goes up the more rare they are. And so yeah, just sharing a bit more on the grenade side of things.
Lems had a couple of questions. I'll answer the one that I can answer, and then Michael, I think you're the best person to answer the next. So he asked, do we have numbers on how much the partner projects boost the MBITs? The answer is not right now. We've actually not gone into details about how all the numbers will work out. I'm not sure if we will. I think generally we just want to encourage people to have fun in our ecosystem, and we also wanted to kind of give a shout out to our partners. The one thing I can say is that our holders matter. So if it's not going to be a case where if you hold a partner NFT that's more than enough for you to get an MBIT reward without doing anything, there will always be higher weightage for MightyNet ecosystem tokens. And so Michael,
you're talking about the bounty, right?
Yeah, the bounty.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry,
Yeah, so
just to clarify, it's the bounty rewards.
Yeah. So yeah, the bounty is a one-off reward to first give back to our players and community members that we're holding for a long time, but also adjacent communities that we're friends with to kind of bring them back into what we're building and get them involved again. And then also I think what I wanted to share a bit is and I see there's a slight typo on the question. So project boosts MBITs. And MBITs basically is a short version for Mighty Bits, but we just call MBITs. I think it's just easier, so we just call MBITs everywhere. And then just want to share a bit about the MBITs allocation. So when So basically, we said that daily there's going to be 10,000 MBITs that are given to the folks that are locking their NFTs, so locking their bears and their Genesis passes. Besides the 10,000 daily, there's also going to be ongoing rewards for community events. So, for example, leaderboards is one of them. We also gave out trophies in previous early access events. Those honey trophies, and they basically give MBITs, and we will reward them also at a certain time. So if you have those trophies and you won in an earlier early access in the leaderboards, you will get your MBITs reward for that as well. And kind of like roughly the share, so we kind of want to give the majority of MBITs to the folks that are locking their NFTs in the terminal. But there's also going to be a very, very big portion that goes to the community. So that's as much as I can say yet.
I think we have one more question also from Lems. When linking, do we have to link everything in one batch, or can we choose to lock per bear or per pass that we hold?
Yeah, it's a good question. You can do that individually. You can do it in batch. You can do it individually. You can unlink in batch. You can unlink individually. So that's both possible. You can do some of the bears if you want for 6 months, some for 3 months, some for 12 months, as you like, and that will then give respective boosts and will increase your respective relative link power. We actually took a lot of inspiration from. So if you maybe it's a bit too technical or diving deep into the crypto space, but so in DeFi there's a project called Curve, and they pioneered this thing called the V model, which basically they pioneered this locking mechanism where the longer you lock, the more of a boost you get. And actually our friends at Treasure, they have a similar mechanisms where basically you can lock magic and then you also lock NFTs, and then you have also a time boost as well. So we kind of took a few pages out of their playbook. And we like that model because it really incentivizes and rewards the players that really believe long term in what we're building. Because a lot of the value that is created in what we're building is going to be over the next months and years. So that really helps us align properly with our community.
I unmuted the wrong source. Michael, I think we have
Okay.
just a couple more questions. One is from AC. AC's asking, will there be a special blueprint that will be a limited, I guess that will reward a limited amount of MBITs?
That is a great question. So the way the blueprints work is that they basically give you a grenade. So so input is going to be the resources, right? And then the output is going to be the grenade. So either they give you a grenade, or I guess I can share a little bit there. Like, there's going to be a failure rate, so it's not guaranteed that the blueprint will give you a grenade. And if you fail to craft, you get another resource that you would need to craft other things. So that's some mechanism I can already share. But the MBITs are basically, for now, just used to buy supply crates. And supply crates now have contents for the grenade crafting, but will have other contents in the future. So we're going to start with 3 supply crates, as Aaron shared earlier. But we will add more supply crates throughout the year. So you don't need to spend all your MBITs for the grenade crafting. You can also save some of your MBITs for later supply crates. But yeah, we will announce more once we get there. But for now, it's just going to be grenade crafting and grenade supply crates.
Okay, folks, I want to let everyone go so they can link their bears, but we have just one more question. It's from Paperwish. So Paperwish is asking, does locking or linking equate to hard staking, or does this locking mechanism not require a transaction? They're thinking about the gas fee when they ask this.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we call it linking and locking. And the reason for this is it doesn't leave your wallet. So the NFT actually stays in your wallet, but there's going to be a transaction that you do. So there will be gas fees. The more bears, the more passes that you're linking, the more gas you pay. So it scales almost linearly, but not quite in terms of the gas fees. But I also want to say that you can start linking actually right now. So now it's 11 a.m. here in Japan, 10 a.m. Singapore. So now the site's going to go live. You can start linking. But the MBITs rewards, they will start in a week from now. So start doing the next early access, which means You have an entire week to link your bears, to think about it, to do what you want to do. And you can also maybe wait a bit for the gas to go cheaper, because I think the gas, I actually didn't look this morning, but yesterday it was still quite high. So yeah, so you have an entire week to link your bears, but make sure they are linked in a week from now, because this is when the rewards will start. And we will give 10,000 MBITs per day, regardless of how many users are linking. So if you're one of the early ones, you definitely get more relative to, to when more people are locking.
Thank you,
And
Michael.
yeah,
Oh,
thanks.
was that it?
No, I just read the question
Oh.
again. I figured I'd probably answer
Sorry,
everything.
please go. No, did you have more to add, or did I interrupt you? Because I feel like I did.
No, I just wanted to say, I just read the question and I thought I had more to say, but I actually said everything I wanted to say. I saw that I
Okay.
realized there's a bit of a delay, so sorry for the back and forth.
Oh, no worries. So I think this is the end of our town hall. I'm sure everyone's really excited to go and link your NFTs. Please check out the announcement that we've made last night about how you can get even more MBIT rewards. But otherwise, all the resources about how to link are online. We're also, right after I hop off, I'm also going to post a guide. It's the recording that you saw earlier in the town hall. So thanks everybody for tuning in this morning. I hope you learned a lot of cool stuff and you're excited for what's to come. We'll be putting a VOD of this whole town hall on YouTube. So you can watch it again or share it with your friends, and we are also going to put like snippets of it out on Twitter and in the general internet. So check it out. Thank you for being with us here today, and thank you to the Mighty Bear team for being here and sharing all your expertise as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye. I will stop the stage
Bye-bye.
now. Bye.